Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Vancouver. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller. We are underway in round 8. Alexander Hayne versus Josh Utter-Leyton. Both players sitting at 6-1, looking for a strong finish here to the day.
Sure.
Alex leads off with a Temple of Silence, and Josh has all the mana he needs for now. And Alexander Hayne has a tapped Hallowed Fountain as Josh cycles an Azorius Charm as he goes to his draw step here.
Is he blue-white, or is he the blue-white touch a little bit of red control?
Looks like he's just straight blue-white here. Though, that Guildgate's a little... No, Huey was running Guildgates. I think he's just blue-white. All right, so third land drop for Alexander Hayne, who looks to be on Esper, at least from what we can see, but we'll keep a close eye on it.
Yeah, this looks control on control.
It does. I think that Alexander Hayne is blue-white.
If he was Esper Humans or something, he'd have done something by now. Right?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Alex is actually blue-white as well. And he might just be playing a couple of Scry lands for effect.
Fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And he's just going to be pretty aggressive here. Just windmill Jace Architect of Thought and just dare Josh to counter it, which he doesn't. Yeah. He's going to instantly minus it, reveal. Wow, some nice stuff there for this. There's really no bad split here.
I mean, a lot of what this matchup revolves around is being able to counter the key thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't counter everything.
Right.
These decks don't have enough permission spells to be able to counter everything you might care about. Which did Alexander take?
Alex actually took the land
Sphinx's Revelation?
And Sphinx's Revelation, yeah. I mean, hitting land drops is super important in a control matchup like this as well, so it's pretty tough to resist.
Yeah, and he played Jace before playing a land, too, so I don't know if he needed that land.
Mm. All right, Josh has cycled another Azorius Charm and is kind of surveying the scene here. He's facing down a Jace and nothing else. He has the opponent essentially tapped out for all intents and purposes here.
Right.
So
I
see.
His fifth turn or his sixth turn? It's turn 5, right?
Right. Alex was on the play here.
So, I mean, there's not much Josh can do to Alex to punish him for tapping out for Jace.
No, I mean, he could have resolved that detention sphere in hand, but it looks like he's content.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, this is kind of a card advantage battle. Like, you would like to be up cards on your opponent, but that isn't fundamentally what's going to determine this game. This game is going to be determined by, like, the one Aetherling.
The Aetherling, yeah.
You know.
And really, Aetherling is the huge swinger. We'll
Alexander missed a land drop and had to discard.
Okay.
That's
he discards the last breath, because who needs that against Josh?
Right. And what happens a lot of times is if one player can get significantly more lands into play, that's when you're really in good shape. So Josh also failed to play a land. They both stopped at 5. Alexander goes for Sphinx's Rev for 2 during Josh's end step, digging for lands.
Kind of a desperate Sphinx's Rev. I mean, he's like very eager to get back on the land drop train here.
Yeah, I'm not sure desperate. I'm not sure I like desperate.
How would you put it? I mean,
it's just
Sphinx's Revelation for 2 is not ideal. I always feel like I want to get at least 3 out of it.
I mean, the first one is going to be for a couple. It's trying to get a flow of lands.
Okay. He's content to just plus Jace again and discard another last breath here. Now, Josh did
Josh
find
does have
it.
red mana.
He looks like he does. All right. So
I think
what is that for?
So assemble the Legion in the sideboard and Counterflux.
Counterflux. Ooh.
Counterflux in the main.
Counterflux is nasty in these type of matchups. You just get to pick what your opponent doesn't get.
Yeah, and his victory conditions are Elspeth and Aetherling.
He does have an Aetherling?
He has 1 Aetherling, 1 Elspeth, and then, I mean, the 4 Jaces technically can win you the game.
Yeah, Elspeth or Aetherling is so much better in these matchups. Elspeth is ultimately something that Alexander's deck has the tools to deal with, especially game 1, where he's going to have extra, Supreme Verdicts and such to clean up any leftover tokens.
Alexander has 1 Aetherling, 3 Elspeth.
Okay.
He's got 3 Syncopate for permission, along with 4 Dissolve.
All right.
Josh's permission suite for game 1 is 3 times Counterflux, period, the end. So, I mean, Syncopate's tough to use as a hard counter, but possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably relevant. I mean, if Josh is going for something big.
All right. Alex is going to minus his Jace.
Yep.
Reveal a couple of lands in a Syncopate.
Yeah, and again,
instantly
Josh
switch.
is splitting it permission spell or no.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Josh really, you can get into the point sometimes with these decks where you have more permission spells in your hand than they have threats in their deck,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Right.
Josh only has the 3 counter spells. Now, the fact that they're
That they're uncounterable.
Counterflux changes that math a little bit. It's really interesting, actually. I haven't seen much of the red version of this deck.
It's just a very light splash. And look at
It is
Josh's
very
hand.
light.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only main deck card is Counterflux. Clearly, they think that that's important. That's worth splashing a whole
I see.
color for.
Yeah.
Yeah, having the ability to just win these permission fights.
Alexander Hayne had to discard 3 cards last turn.
All right, Josh going to go for Jace of his own.
Alex does have 6 lands up, but he's only got 3 blue sources total, so.
All right, he's going to fight the card drawing. You've seen Josh has not fought. I mean, I don't know if Josh has it. I guess he can't fight a lot. He's only got 3 counterfluxes.
Also, he gave his opponent that Syncopate earlier, so Josh knows if he counters back, it's going to get countered back anyway.
No, because if he counters, it's counterflux.
Oh, yeah, right. He doesn't, he must not have it in his hand.
No, I mean, I think whether you fight you don't have enough permission in the deck to fight all their card drawing.
Right.
I mean,
Wow, is this an instant replay?
yeah, seriously.
Very similar to before. This time, though,
Yeah,
Alexander
Alexander
says,
takes the
I've
2.
already got 1. And takes the
I
land.
like how quickly these players are playing too. I mean, they know this matchup is going to require many, many turns.
Agree. It's nice for us and for everybody at home.
Yeah.
That is interesting, the counterflux thing. I mean, because he can just hang on to those for only Elspeth and Aetherling.
Yeah, 3 Elspeths and an Aetherling.
Like,
does.
draw all
well,
the cards
Elspeth
you want.
resolves here.
Yeah.
So now we play
so we know he doesn't have it now.
Well, maybe he's got a detention sphere.
He does have a detention sphere in hand, at least 1. He draws the Sphinx's Revelation, Slam
The
Sphere.
detention sphere doesn't do much in this matchup, so he's only got. The thing is, you can't counter everything you might want to counter. It's not like, late 90s draw go where you've got 21 permission spells in your deck and 14 of them are hard counters. You have 3.
Uh-huh.
Like 3 times during the game you get to say no. That's it. Josh doesn't even have Elixir. So it's literally 3 times. I mean, Alexander, I assume, has an Elixir? No, neither one of these guys has an Elixir of Immortality. So they're not reshuffling. They're not going late the way we saw Huey do earlier in the day.
Yeah, both of them have more win conditions as well, especially Alex. He's got, what, 4?
Yeah.
So Detention Sphere got countered.
Yeah, dissolved.
It got dissolved, and Elspeth is kind of going nuts here. Alex is going to take 2 from his Hallowed Fountain because he's got plenty of life to play with and under no pressure at all. And pass the turn back. So Alex looks like he's pulled ahead pretty significantly. 2 Planeswalkers,
Josh,
more lands, and a full board, and Josh is kind of stuck here.
Well, he needs to answer the Elspeth. He's got at least another Detention Sphere in his hand.
He does.
He's got Supreme Verdicts to clean up the tokens.
Yep.
But he doesn't have a ton of time. He knows Alexander's got at least a Syncopate. Like the first Syncopate counters Detention Sphere here.
Yep.
I mean, I'd rather be the side with 7 counters than the side with 3 in this matchup. Yeah, I think Josh, I don't see a counterflux in his hand.
Yeah, I haven't all game. He's got an Aetherling in his hand.
I mean, if he'd had a counterflux for the Elspeth, then he has all day to sort of sit back and set up. But the fact that Elspeth resolves means he only gets a couple of turns to answer it. And Alexander has enough counters to maybe stop him.
Yeah, I mean, the way it goes is like Josh tries to answer it with Detention Sphere. If that gets countered, he can keep the tokens at bay with his uncounterable wraths, but that's just delaying the inevitable. He still needs to find actual answers at some point.
Right. I think he's debating whether to Supreme Verdict here or Detention Sphere.
He's put a card face down. Is he just going to ship the turn and go for a Revelation?
Interesting.
I mean, it only costs a couple of mana for Alex to counter it.
But then you've plowed through that Syncopate. Oh, Sphinx's Revelation from
And this is end
Hayne.
step, so...
Yeah, Josh has decided to do nothing in his main phase. He set aside the card that he's ready to discard. Does he have a Divination in his hand, too?
He does.
So he does not want to tap any mana on his main phase. He's not going to rev as a response there. Note that Hayne didn't tap all his mana. He left up 3, so he's threatening. He's representing Dissolve. We know he has a Syncopate.
Yeah, he Sphinx's Revelation for 4 there. He's got a full grip plus, so...
6, yeah.
No blocks with Mutavault either, just take it.
Make 3 guys. Ship the turn. Plus the Jace. Then ship the turn. Alexander's also got more lands in play. I mean, often the way to tell who's winning the control and control matchup is just to see who has more lands.
That's right.
You know, 7 lands for Josh Utter-Leyton to, was it 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. Yeah, Syncopate. Sure, I mean, Josh
knew that was there.
I don't think he expected that to resolve. I think that was bait to get a counter.
Is that going to get it done here, though?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like Hayne could easily, probably, possibly have another counter in his hand. And those 9 tokens alone are good enough. I think maybe you Supreme Verdict here. Supreme Verdict and Divination is maybe the play? No, he's going for Detention Sphere. Well, he can still Supreme Verdict since it's uncounterable.
Yeah, he cannot pay for a full-on Syncopate here.
No, but sure.
But it doesn't matter. Oh, it does resolve, though.
It resolves.
And now Josh gets the Supreme Verdict here and kind of have a fresh start, potentially?
Quite possibly.
I mean, he can't take 9. He can take most of it.
The 9 guys are lethal.
Yeah, he's got a Mutavault there, but and Alex has already gotten rid of 2 Last Breaths, but it feels a little risky. I'm sure.
I mean, you have to Supreme Verdict them at some point. Why not now?
Yeah. Before you're dead to their Mutavault, right?
Does Hayne run Mutavault? Yeah, 3. Josh has 2.
Yeah, and Hayne does have 1 active here too, so.
This has to be Supreme Verdict.
Josh sure is thinking about it. He's ranked number 2 on the top 25 pro rankings. Alex is number 18, so 2 very high-level players duking it out, and there it is. Supreme Verdict leaving just Steam Vents up. So Alexander Hayne, this is going to depend a lot on what he's built his hand up to be, because he can just go off here.
Right.
And it looks like he's going to refill. Jace. And he bricks off. He doesn't, at least he didn't hit, you know, an Elspeth or an Aetherling or something. Take a couple lands.
Kill looting a Mutavault. Plays his Mutavault. Can get in for 2 with the old Mutavault.
Yeah.
I don't know what else
is there something big he can do here? That looks like 6.
That looks like 6.
And there's the other Elspeth. So bad news for Josh Utter-Leyton.
He navigated the first Elspeth reasonably well. I mean, baited the permission, managed to Detention Sphere it, but Hayne's playing 3. Yeah, and get in 2 from Mutavault. I like that.
Josh Utter-Leyton falls to 7, and that gives Hayne lethal next turn with double Mutavault plus 3 soldiers. So once again, Josh up against it. He draws a divination for the turn. He has a counterflux now. Is it too late? Does it even matter now? He doesn't have quite enough mana to play Aetherling and have counterflux up. So he's just going to play the Aetherling straight up. And that's going to get syncopated for 3.
Wow. Removed from the game. That was pretty desperation play for Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't. You're right. With the counterflux, he wanted to do that and be able to defend it, but
yeah,
that Elspeth is, like you said, this is actually lethal here.
Yeah. Josh can represent his own Azorius Charm and or Last Breath here to make it not, but there's so little downside to Alex just firing away here.
Yeah.
If Josh kills one of his Mutavaults, I think
I'm a little bit surprised Josh didn't leave a Mutavault up. He left 2 colored mana. Does he have an Azorius Charm actually in his hand that he wants to play? Interesting. New Jace.
New Jace.
More
slightly
cards.
Smaller.
Josh sees the Sphinx's Revelation as the back-breaking card that it is right here.
And Alex is going to take it and ship the Land and Last Breath to the bottom of the library.
Yeah, Land and Last Breath not that great here. Hayne's already taken land on previous Jace. Last Breath does almost nothing.
See if Alex decides just to fire it off here. I mean, what's the worst case for him? If Josh has an Azorius Charm and he doesn't kill him this turn, is it really bad for Alex?
You want him to activate 2 Mutavaults and
Yeah, just ship him in there.
Swing for 7. I like it.
He's going to take the patient route here and just hit for 3.
I mean, Josh is clearly representing an answer.
He is. He tapped
does
his
he have
Mutavault.
Last Breath? Right, tapping his Mutavault is part of the tell.
Yeah.
Which might be bait. I think there's a Last Breath.
I think he does have one, yeah.
It looks like Divination, Counterflux, Last Breath. Not confident, but that's what I think I see. It's weird that these divinations have accumulated without him getting the chance to cast them. Huh.
All right, and here's the Sphinx's Revelation.
For the main phase, Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, he's going to play around Syncopate, but otherwise he's still going to get 5 cards out of the deal.
Yeah.
Refill his grip and move to discard. So things looking quite good for Alexander Hayne here. Josh has a ton of work to get out of this spot.
Discarding a couple lands and a Supreme Verdict.
Divination. 2 lands.
This would have been useful like 5 turns ago, 10 turns ago. Seems like Hayne just got out on the front foot, got up a little more land than Josh, has a little more permission than Josh, and was able to get ahead by enough cards to resolve Elspeth and then resolve Elspeth.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Josh goes to he shows the detention sphere for the Elspeth, but the tokens are lethal and the Mutavaults are lethal.
yeah, I think he
Other
might
than
have
that,
targeted the
sphere.
tokens, and then Alex said, "I've got the 2 Mutavaults. I'll kill you with them," or whatever.
That is what happened.
And we're going to go to sideboarding here as calling him a hometown favorite's a bit of a stretch because he's not from Vancouver.
Home country.
Home country
Canadian hero,
Take
Alexander
a look at
Hayne.
him there. Yeah, he's from the other side of Canada, but
Stern's also from the other side of Canada, right? Those are our 2 ranked Canadians right now. Vancouver has a big Magic history.
oh yeah,
There's a lot of, I mean, back sort of late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, Jeff Cunningham did well for a couple years, got second at an invitational one year, wrote one of the best tournament reports I've ever seen. Yeah, Jeff Cunningham, if you want to go back and read old tournament reports, his are among the best.
he has
maybe
a
the best.
really, really strong reputation for his writing.
Yeah,
People have
Fedge is
told me that,
what people
yeah.
call him, which is just Jeff backwards. That's what he was on IRC. So, yeah, Fedge's writing is spectacular. His tourney report, it was like almost got the he lost to Antoine Ruel in the invitational one year, and it was so close. And just he wrote about it, like loved the game, super smart, super sort of insightful writing. So Cunningham is from around here. Terry Sang put up a couple top 8s. Terry Lau put up at least one Pro Tour top 8. Jeff Fung was a Pro Tour regular for a couple years. You go way back to the first couple years of the Pro Tour. Pete Radnich did well. So, I mean, there have been quite a few sort of Pro Tour regulars from the Vancouver area. I mean, not as many in recent years, but
yeah,
back in the day, it was definitely sort of one of the North American hotbeds. Way back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age, right? Still, definitely a lot of good Magic has been played in this city over the years. But yeah, Hayne repping the other side of Canada. He seems pretty excited about his team going into the Pro Tour, too.
Does he?
I guess they're face-to-face games now?
Yes, team
they picked up a sponsor.
Games. That's right.
Good for them. Yeah, I was talking to him. He's like, yeah, there's all these people are changing and reforming. It's like, I like my team.
Yeah.
We're fine.
And there's got to be something to be said for that consistency, too, right? And you get used to everybody. Everybody settles into their roles. It's got to be tough, that first Pro Tour on a brand new team where people are still kind of feeling everybody out. You see one of his teammates, Pascal Maynard, back there as well.
Sure.
Texting or tweeting, hey, Mom, I'm on TV. But in French.
All right. So we should look at the sideboards here.
Yeah, why don't we take out some sideboard?
Hayne sideboard has 3 gainsays. I'm sure those will come in. An opportunity will come in. I mean, the rest of Archangel Thune, Soldier of the Pantheon don't seem like...
What do you think about Soldier of the Pantheon?
I was just thinking, like...
If he pulls all his
If you just show up and play a Savannah Lion, that could be good.
That cannot be detention sphered?
Right. Can't be Azorius Charmed.
No.
Might actually be
And
good.
the Wraths basically are going to come out for Josh, right?
Yes. I mean, if the last...
Maybe you just play a couple of those and just ride them to victory. You can also protect them.
I'm trying to think, I mean, what are they in the sideboard for if they're not coming in this matchup?
Yeah,
you put them in the sideboard for, like, the red-black aggro deck.
They can block a few key things, but it's...
And, like, green-white, they block decent.
Yeah.
I wonder if they come in.
This could be interesting.
That could be some saucy control tech.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean,
he's got the full 4?
Yeah. Yeah, full 4. And some gainsays. Josh has 4 gainsay, 2 negate. I would think those come in.
Because you got to feel like blue-white doesn't want to have Wraths, and they don't necessarily... I mean, do they keep in their last breaths for their posing Mutavaults, though? Is that a thing?
I mean, I don't think you keep 4.
Yeah.
You might keep 1 or 2, but, I mean, the game isn't usually decided by Mutavaults.
Right. All right, well, a Guildgate, not the most aggressive start if he is on the Soldier of the Pantheon.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he's going to just pass the turn back. Josh is going to cycle an Azorius Charm. And we are off to the land drop races. Please do join us. Josh passes the turn back after scrying a card to the bottom with his Temple.
Both players have Archangel Thune in their sideboard.
Do they?
It's not a card I've seen a ton of.
I haven't either. I can't remember who I was talking to that's playing it, but they said they brought it in for everything.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fact that it's in both sideboards, I'm like,
yeah.
Did I miss something? Did this card become a staple when I wasn't looking? Apparently, yes. Hey, I mean, these guys did not work together. Like, these are independently evolved control decks.
Correct.
There it is. It's not as exciting on turn 4 as turn 1, but...
It is true, the words you say, but it resolves, and there it is.
I mean, it's a 1-mana threat that Josh will eventually have to block with a Mutavault.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Mutavault makes it less exciting.
I like it.
I do too.
All right.
Josh is not interested in trading a land for it. It's like, my life total is a resource. Only the last point matters.
All right, Temple of Deceit ships a card to the bottom.
Yeah, Hayne has he has Temple of Deceit in his deck, but no black.
Yeah.
Neither the main deck or the sideboard has any black spells.
Sure.
Oh, never mind. He has Dark Betrayal on his board.
Oh, he does.
3 Dark Betrayal. That's his black splash.
For Obsidian? What is that for?
Thank you, Nico.
I mean, it does hit a
Nightfell
lot of
Spectre.
different things.
It hits a lot of things.
Yeah. But I mean, you mentioned it earlier. He not only has access to, but is playing Last Breath, which also hits Nightveil Spectre quite nicely.
Fine. But again, Mono Black is
it's an issue.
Among the most popular decks, among the most powerful decks.
True, true.
Soldier of the Pantheon, chipping away.
I was watching Twitch. Never got on.
All right, what does Alex have? A Jace here?
Yep.
There it is. Jace Architect of Thought.
I see Gainsay in the gate in Raptor's hand. And there's Gainsay.
And Alex says, yeah, okay. Put that away.
I guess after sideboarding with more counters in both of these decks, you can afford to fight the card drawing a little more.
Okay.
You have to be really parsimonious with the counters in these decks. It's a little different than most control decks over the years, how little permission there is in here.
Looks like a Jace for Josh Utter-Leyton here, potentially. Alexander Hayne representing any number of counter spells, especially after having played that Hallowed Fountain untapped. His life total, freely usable resource against a blue-white.
It's not like his opponent's playing Soldier of the Pantheon.
Exactly. Is he going to go for a Assemble the Legion here? He is.
Nice. There's his sideboard tech.
And he's got the 3 mana
both
up
players
here.
sideboarded in new threats.
Interesting. Josh has a Gainsay, doesn't play it.
Is the life there?
Huh.
It's still on the trigger can still down.
That is interesting.
Interestingly, Josh accidentally flipped up a Jace Architect of Thought. That's something that Alex will note here. I don't know if it's a huge, flipping up a counter spell there.
Josh
would be
didn't
kind of
even
annoying.
think about countering that. He was clearly willing to, and he played it like you said. Alexander played untapped Hallowed Fountain, paid 2 life, so it's clearly representing Dissolve. Josh may have called a potential bluff. Right? May have read that as a bluff. May have been just content to get Dissolve out of Hayne's hand.
He also had enough lands to pay for a Syncopate in that case.
True.
And there's Elspeth, but this is why Josh did not count that fight. Yeah.
He didn't want to be tapped out and let Hayne resolve a threat.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yet Alexander Hayne did not have a negate or a gainsay or anything like that on his side, even though he had the mana for it. Or if he does, he's doing the same thing that Josh did. Is that another Assemble the Legion there for Josh Utter-Leyton?
That would certainly also explain why he didn't want to fight.
Yeah.
That's a great play from Josh if that's what he has. I mean, it's reasonable either way, but...
There's the red. All right,
mana.
here it comes.
Assemble the Legions.
Assemble the Legion.
Nice. So he baited the counter. He got Hayne to go for Elspeth while he had counter for that.
Yeah.
Now he gets to resolve and Assemble the Legion, which Alexander needs to answer relatively quickly.
Yeah, that Assemble the Legion will outpace Soldier of the Pantheon, though the tokens are red-white.
Oh, funny.
Interestingly. Also, Alex gains a life after Josh cast it, so little things here and there, but ooh.
How about Elspeth? You got a counters yet, Josh?
Nope. And there she is. Elspeth, Sun's champion, is going to put 3 soldier tokens in and swing that race firmly in Alex's favor here. So Josh Utter-Leyton has a lot of work to do. He has inevitability for the win with that Assemble the Legion, but...
Yeah, life total's irrelevant. Soldier of the Pantheon's done good work here. Ha! Nice.
His very good friend, David Ochoa token there.
Jace.
Now Jace
That'll
is
slow the
nice.
beats.
Yes. Now he's going to have to deal with Elspeth at some point because she can eventually ultimate.
Yep.
Are they going to fight here? Is this a fightable situation?
To.
Hayne is throwing the first jab.
Interesting. I think Josh is down to his last gainsay.
Believe so.
And he's going to use it on the dissolve.
All right.
So he gets Jace. He pluses it. Now the Soldier Pantheon only deals 1, and the Elspeth tokens deal nothing.
He can get in with that
Essentially,
token.
I mean, well, it's got Summoning Sickness.
Well, they has haste. The Assemble the Legion tokens get haste, so
sure.
Because once Alex decides to leave back the soldier, he won't be able to get in. But it would have been just an easy block anyway. All right, Josh Utter-Leyton at a fairly precarious 8, considering the fact that this is a control mirror.
Yeah.
Alex's sideboard plan has been pretty effective. And here's Mutavault, and both are attacking.
Mutavault and the Soldier both attack. I mean,
Wouldn't be
there's no good
surprised
block.
to see.
Josh can't block the token.
Yeah.
It's 2 damage. It's only 2
That's true.
because of the chase ability. But that's 25% of Utter-Leyton's life total.
He took it.
Yeah, it's no good block. It
So-
seems like Jace probably buys enough time for, maybe not. Jace alone does not actually, well, there's a Mutavault. That helps.
Yeah, because I mean, once Elspeth goes ultimate, Jace is far less effective, and Josh will be dead. But if he can find
Yeah, Jace bought him a couple
detention
turns.
sphere or something,
It's not long enough for Josh's Jace did not provide enough time for some of the Legions to take the game over.
Right.
Mostly because of Elspeth's ultimate.
That's right.
So Josh is still going to have to answer that Elspeth. He bought himself a couple of turns,
That's right.
but he's going to have to answer the Elspeth. Yeah. Clearly
He
have
has
to
to sit
plus.
here. So he has. Well, that's interesting because Josh does have at least one Sphinx's Revelation in hand here. Must have found it with that divination. But he's gonna. He can't fuss around anymore. Elspeth is now at 7. Next turn, Alex can ultimate Elspeth.
And this turn, Alex is attacking with the Soldier, but not the Mutavault. Because there's enough tokens to block. Oh, the enemy Mutavault and the tokens can block it and take it down. So.
Yeah, how come the Mutavault just didn't do that? Josh just didn't
Wow,
want to
yeah,
tap
Josh
his mana.
could have
Oh, that's why.
attempted to block with Mutavault
Yeah,
there.
but he wants to draw a couple of cards here. He knows how desperate this situation is. If he has to pass a turn back and Elspeth goes ultimate, he's dead. All right, that resolves. Was there a detention sphere in there somewhere? Couple of life is nice, but he's still taking way too much in the air next turn.
Right.
He still doesn't have a way to pressure Elspeth thanks to all the tokens that she's made. Well, there's a divination, an Elspeth of his own.
Yeah, he's got a counterflux.
He's got a
too.
counterflux, but he's only got 6 tokens versus 9 on Alexander Hayne's side of the board, and Josh is up against it. He is going to need to find an answer, and sure enough,
minus the Jace.
Find, well,
Only
a divination.
And Alex sees that as the desperation dig that it is. So
He knows.
Figures Josh will value divination super high. Doesn't have to put a land.
You know, Azorius Charm is another card that could be interesting here. Josh can gain some amount of life, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 8 life. Unfortunately, still not enough. Josh finds another divination off of his divination.
Yeah, he doesn't have time for this game.
It is winding down. He can play it and still have just enough room if he finds the detention sphere. I don't think he did.
Now he has to hope Hayne wants 8 counters to keep Elspeth around after getting her emblem.
I mean, he can attack Elspeth and force some of the soldiers to block, or else she can't ultimate. The problem is that he had to minus his Jace this turn, so horrible position here.
Yeah,
And that's
there
it.
you go.
Alexander immediately pulls the dice off to signal the ultimate.
And
that is
Josh
gonna
immediately
be it.
sticks out his hand.
He does, yeah. Knew it was coming. He was digging for a detention sphere or something. It felt like Alex didn't have any counters left potentially, but
Right.